one's money.
This is Zip Squad, bitch.
Burberry scars, shrimp and Perry on. Living like a comet, moving amongst the stars. $100,000 sports cars, silk massage, menage a trois. Yes, I've been a boss. Burberry scars, shrimp and Perry on. Living like a comet, moving amongst the stars. $100,000 sports cars, silk massage, menage a trois. Yes, I've been a boss. Sauntering, maitre d' staying flabbergasted.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Top Rope Wrestling Talk on a very special, momentous occasion. Today marks Top Rope's 100th episode, y'all.
Yep.
I still can't believe it. I don't even know how we got here, but we're here. And we're happy to be here. We're also happy to be here with a ton of our friends, a very special topic that's near and dear to pretty much all our hearts, and a great show planned for you. So let's get to this. Let's get through these intros and let's get cracking, shall we? First and foremost, I'd like to welcome our friends from a foreign land, a little tiny place called Chile, which is suffering through winter right now. So I feel for them. To my one side, the leader of the CWO, the man, the co-host of Suplex, and now Top Rope's NXT champion on top to boot. Can you believe they steal my titles? I can't, man. Anywho, welcome my man, my brother, Felipe.
There we go. There we go.
That's what's up.
Don't make me grab the real gold.
Boys and girls,
Okay.
children of all ages, welcome to this special show. 100 episodes
100, y'all.
of Top Rope
And
Talk.
to the
And
other
you're truly new NXT World Champion
are you
with
done?
my guy.
Bro.
You,
He
my
steals
brother,
your title and then he steals your intro time.
Gonzalo. Show
Right.
him who is the greatest tag team.
And yes, the other half of this podcast, Brothers of Destruction, my big evil brother, and Top Rope NXT North American Championship, as if they fulfilled the golden prophecy at TakeOver. My main man, my dude, Gonzalo.
Oh, yes! Ladies and gentlemen, this is a special occasion because for the first time ever, we have yours truly NXT champion. And of course, the man who's talking to you right now, the NXT North American champion. And this is just the beginning, and this is a warm for everyone at Top Rope Wrestling Talk Island. We will take all the gold, ladies and gentlemen, and this is just the beginning. So welcome to the Suplex era. And that,
My man. Do me a favor. Do me one favor. Hold up. Holler at me when you got 20. That's all I'm saying. I'm done. Now, moving on to our other special guest.
Bring on the gold.
Our other family from this continent. For starters, oh god, I love this man. I've got to work with him a little bit. You know, we go back a little bit. I even gave him the loving nickname that people forgot at the Survivor Series show that we did together, but I certainly haven't. So please welcome the co-host of Clark Street Wrestling Talk, the one, the only, the Nigerian Nightmare,
Hey,
Hafeez.
oh, that's perfect.
Yes. Thank you. Happy 100th Top Rope.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Love y'all. Love and respect.
Thank you. And that nickname is one that sticks to the ribs. I'm just saying. And of course, at the very bottom of the screen, because he showed up dead last again. My main man, he's like my honestly, he's like my podcasting Yoda. I just sit under his tree and I learn from him, like up on one arm, upside down, no lie. He is known as the tribal chief of podcasting, and for good reason, the one and only heel dude, Devin.
Should have my title to walk, and I'm walking too.
Wait for the title.
Do
Wait
this,
for the title.
side to side.
One time with me, Devin. Ooh, ah.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's enough of that.
Enough.
And now,
Some more.
and now, no offense, guys, but I saved the best for last here. My crew, the people that have put up with me through 100 episodes, a few thousand recording hours, a year and a half. Some tough times, some good times, some everything. For starters, the woman with, I think she said 204, I think it's 207 nicknames, but I'll just give you a few.
We lost count.
She is the whole ass vibe. She is the first lady of Top Rope Wrestling Talk. She is the 10th wonder of the world because she actually showed up before Raquel Gonzalez. So you're number 11. She is Latina Heat herself, my bro sis, the one and only Grandma Wendy.
Viva la raza! If you're not cheating, you're not trying. We lie, we cheat, we steal. We lie, we cheat, we steal. Mamacita.
Oh, I still love. We lie, we cheat, we steal.
We steal.
From Nick Aldis.
Hey.
Flashback to episode 1. And then there's this man, my true brother from another mother. The man who founded Top Rope on Facebook, who actually came up with the idea for the podcast in the first place while we were just randomly on a Skype chat one night. And look at where we are today. He's also the biggest MJF mark you will ever, and I mean ever, find.
Ever.
He is the super high class one. He is the man who I'm gonna guess is probably sick of me by now, but I'm just glad he still puts up with me. The one, the legendary Bruce.
Yes, I am.
And I bet you thought
And
you
he
forgot
knows
about.
Yes, I do.
See? And I bet you thought I forgot about me, didn't you? Hell no. The best comes last. Okay. Once again, folks, it's me, not DDP, but the greatest group champ in history. The jack of all trades, the master of absolutely none. The 20-time champ, the South Philly psycho, the man who, if he wasn't here, there wouldn't be 100 episodes. There wouldn't be one. Your boy. If you can't remember it all, you can't say it all, just call me Dom. Where the hell is my music? God damn it.
Wait for it.
Serious, there's so much extra crap on the soundboard, I can't find it.
What an evening.
That's why he's the jack of all trades, master of
Master
none.
of
Master
none.
of none.
See, here we go.
Okay.
The whole fucking show. All right, I'm glad we got all that out of the way because tonight's topic is very interesting, very special. This was something that Felipe had broached with me, and I thought, man, this would be perfect for episode 100. It's different, it's new. And then when I thought about like the topic itself, I was like, you know what? It's all about, for starters, it's all about WWE's 100 greatest matches. And I thought, who knows and loves WWE as much, if not more, than the five of us? Oh, right. The guys from Clark Street. Let's get them on here, too. There you see the book it came from. WWE's 100 Greatest Matches by Dean Miller. And what happened was Felipe and Gonzalo sent us a list of the 100 matches. And they said, you got to pick 20. We don't know what anybody picked. We don't know any of the results yet. We're going to go through the results. And we're going to decide as we run down these matches if they were truly iconic, if they were great, if they were good, if they were just moment matches like, oh, that spot, but then the rest, meh, and so on and so forth. Once we come up with a solid list of matches that at least majority voted iconic, we're going to put it out there to the people. We're going to let them vote. We're going to see through wrestling fans what the most iconic match in WWE history ever was. He even had us pick some wild cards. We're going to go through that too, because the book was written in 2016. It's clearly 2021. So we all picked a match from the last 5 years that we consider to be the most iconic.
or that is not in this book that really maybe an iconic match or a great match that deserves a mention.
So since he helped me create this topic, do you want to jump off into the first match here, Felipe?
Yeah, please.
All right.
Okay, this is the 20 matches that we all pick.
Right, the first match out the
Okay,
chute.
This is not for order. It's randomly.
No, in no particular
This is the
order.
20.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The first match out of the chute that we all voted on was
before Don, before you put the match, the photo, the thing is also that we are all counting that these 20 matches are all great matches.
Oh yeah.
We are gonna go deeper. What is iconic? The WWE iconic match.
Yeah, because you can have a great
what
match
we are
without
gonna
having an
find.
iconic match. That's what we're going to determine tonight.
Okay.
So, without further ado, let's
go.
jump to the first
Let's play
match, shall
the
we?
game.
Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please.
It's gonna be
The first match we come to is none other than CM Punk versus John Cena.
oh man.
Title for title.
They've never had a bad match together. They've never had a bad match together. If you can find a bad match that those two had against each other,
First of
I'll
all,
fucking give you $100
if
because
this
they haven't
match
had one.
if this match made that list, it's a great match. We all know that. I think we all agree on that.
Actually, to affirm the point of Brucey, in this 100 list, there are two CM Punk versus John Cena matches.
Okay,
This
well,
one
don't tell me
and
that.
the
You're
other
spoiling
one
it,
from
man. It's supposed to be a
come on.
surprise, hence the drum roll and
Jump with the gun.
pomp and circumstance and shit. So,
Wait.
this match in particular, do you consider this match to be iconic? Is it great, but it falls short? Does it fall below that? Let's start with, I guess since Brucey opened his mouth first, why not high class?
It's not an iconic match. It's a great match, but it's not iconic.
I have to agree.
It's not that iconic status. It's not. It doesn't. Yeah.
It's a great match.
It's a great match that will stand the test of time.
Am I
but it's
wrong?
not iconic.
Am I wrong, or was the build to the match better than the match?
No.
When you had CM Punk leaving and John Cena bitching, and then Rey Mysterio winning the title, and John Cena coming back to take it from him, and then CM Punk showing up with his title, which he had in the fridge at home, and he was putting on social media. Like the build almost felt
the match.
more iconic than the match. The match was great, but the build to it was like, mwah.
But that's the thing. In WWE, rarely a great feud ends in a great match. This is a good example of a great feud delivering in a really, really great match. But yeah, I don't know if it's iconic. Maybe, but for me, it's a great match. One of the great of the last decade.
I guess the problem for me in this match or in this one is that the previous match that they had kind of, for me personally, overshadows this one. It's kind of like we were rehashing something that was amazing and did it again. And yes, the buildup was awesome and the match itself was awesome. But when I think of these two guys, there's another match that they had previous to this that sticks out as like the holy shit of their rivalry. So that's where it kind of falls short for me, is that we saw it once and it didn't necessarily top the first time because there was so much going on behind the scenes the first time around that this one was like, okay, this is cool, but it didn't have that same, like, I didn't have the same anxiety around what was going to happen in the second match as it did the first one, because there was some real life shit going on. We're like, what is happening? So yeah, just
Okay. How about Gonzalo? Did you weigh in on this yet?
Well, actually, first a reminder. This is the Money in the Bank match, actually. Okay, so
I thought
2011.
we said
right?
title versus title.
yeah, no,
No,
it's
no,
the
no,
Money in the
Oh,
Bank.
did I mess it up?
This is
I'm
the
so
money-
sorry.
Yeah,
I just
this
saw
is
this and
Money
I
in the Bank.
immediately
one.
thought
Money in the Bank match.
Oh,
Money in the Bank.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay.
No problem.
Again,
no problem.
I still stick to my guns. Where it's
Well, then
quick
it
match.
changes what I'm
I
talking
just
about
saw it and
completely.
immediately.
This is the match.
I got the title.
This is
Okay, I'm sorry. So this is Money in the Bank 2011. I wish somebody would have corrected that before we got into it. Sorry.
I was going the way you said, Dom.
I don't have it in
Hafeez
front of
is
me.
like,
I just
hold
have
on,
pictures
hold
and
on.
I'm trying to remember.
Pump the brakes.
From the
Well,
record.
I can help
Let
you
me
with that
rewind.
with the next one. I can help you with that. With the next
Okay.
one.
So
This is
I-
the Money in the Bank, Chicago.
Okay, Money in the Bank in Chicago.
So,
Right,
oh,
right.
boy.
this match.
Yeah.
The building was so good, and of course the development of this match and what to say the crowd. I think they play a big role in this match.
Mhm.
They made us believe in everything that was happening in the ring at that moment, and probably they're living our dream. Maybe the people who were tired of Cena, about booing him. I think this since One Night Stand is the first time that we hear a complete building just booing Cena.
Yeah, it was always split. You always had
Yeah.
that chant
Yeah.
that "Let's go Cena,
Yeah.
Cena sucks."
Not
Yeah.
this case.
Not Chicago.
No.
They'll back
Not
me
a
up on this.
Oh,
Devin and
man.
Hafeez will back me up. Not
Yeah.
Chicago. They were like,
Man, I think that this match was great, definitely.
Yeah.
And well, just a little reminder. We have here from all of us 7, 6 of us vote for this match.
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just quick since
One
since
person said didn't vote for this match.
who's the culprit? No, it's-
I can tell you right
No.
now who the culprit was.
There it is, folks.
Okay,
The
Bruce.
man who usually has the Burberry
Oh
scarf.
man.
Just loves
There's
getting
one
heat.
person here that will never vote for a CM Punk match, and I'm not gonna say his name.
Oh, was it?
It was me. Fuck you, CM Punk.
If only she had a hood. It was me, everybody.
I just
That's why
could
this
not bring
match is
myself
not
to vote for-
iconic.
He could put on like the most amazingly beautiful, brilliant match. I will not watch it. I will not vote for it. He can suck the farts up my asshole. No, thank
Okay.
you.
I know nowadays, but going back then, I gotta say, Wendy, you got a little something right here. It's like it's some petty, like right here.
Right about here, right about there.
Yeah, right about there. Go right, go like this. Just,
Y'all forget petty is my favorite color.
no. After 100 episodes, you can't forget.
No, sir.
Nor would you want to. Okay, Devin, weigh in on this match.
This was a great build because that actually had everybody, even hardcore fans, hook, line, and sinker on what CM Punk leave. Could he win and take the belt with him? Is he going to leave the company? That played a huge part in the storyline when it comes to realism for between WWE and that's we gotta give Vince McMahon, he played a part too as well. Vince McMahon and John Cena as well, man.
This was one of them times where WWE blurred that line beautifully in build.
Yeah.
You were like, is this shit really happening? Like you actually had to think about it. Where most of the time, we're deep wrestling fan, we're deep wrestling vets as far as watching, and we're like, oh, that's bullshit. I know it's bullshit. But with this, you actually sat there and thought, like, this could be like a real thing.
Yeah. And that atmosphere of that Money in the Bank 2011. I remember, I wish I had, the privilege, the honor to be in the crowd, like my co-host, the Messiah podcast.
I'll jump back in and talk about
Nigerian Nightmare.
No, I can give you the view from TV, and then hearing the first thing the King, he was saying, like, man, if this was the Super Bowl, or it would be like in Chicago, because no one was cheering John Cena. I was saying, like, if Cena wins, we riot, signs.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, hell yeah. I'm tired of Cena. I want CM Punk.
Is it safe
This is
to
his
say?
night. Let's go.
Is it safe to say that Cena might have performed in two of the most hostile environments of all time in his career? This match against CM Punk, and then that little Hammerstein ballroom event with
Yes.
Rob Van Dam,
Yes.
Yeah.
ECW One Night Stand. Like there is not a more hostile environment in either one.
No.
Either one. Like
And
CM
don't
Punk in his
forget that-
hometown, Rob Van Dam in front of hardcore ECW fans in one of their original traditional venues. Like you would have to lose. Like you have to, or you're going to die.
Guys, just
I don't know about
one-
Chi-Town, but that Philly crowd traveled to New York. We will take you out.
just one thing. Kudos to Cena, who can keep the mind on the game.
Mm.
I think that was especially One Night Stand, of course. But
Either one.
he keep the
Gonzalo,
mind in the game.
spoilers.
I know, but
I know we're talking about one that was on the list. It might come
no,
up, but still.
man, that was I think kudos to him that he can finish the match and not distract by the crowd, which was brutal, I think, for anyone.
And one thing from the Punk Cena match is that it came from a really, really good pay-per-view. That pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, is one of the best pay-per-view of the WWE.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry I messed up the background in the first place. I forgot Money in the Bank, and I went straight to title for title. But now that I'm thinking about that match or that card, I'm like, man, that was a great show. Can they do that again? Like, can they find a way to give us some more of that? Like these days, that'd be dope. It's like coming up next month. That'd be dope.
It's crazy because. Well, just sorry. Go ahead, Felipe.
No. I want to say we all agree then Punk Cena is a good match.
It's a great match.
Great.
I wouldn't call it iconic.
Great.
So
let's let Hafeez wrap this up.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, just it's one of those pay-per-views that I actually haven't been able to go back to and watch because, and I told Devin this, being there in the arena, feeling the energy, and this was actually my first live show ever, period, going to. It was like a crazy circumstance that I even got the tickets to go to this. So being there, if Cena wins, we riot, signs and just the energy, chanting CM Punk before, there was even anyone, like any wrestlers there, it's just the audience there waiting, and we're just going nuts already and booing Cena before anyone showed up. Just an amazing environment. So it's been always weird trying to go back and watch it and see it on the network or on Peacock. I've always just been like, it doesn't feel the same as when I was there, like just being there and feeling that energy. That storyline build up was crazy because you were thinking, CM Punk is gone. Like he's done. Like this is the last match. And we didn't know. Right. And so going into that, it was like, oh, will Vince let this happen? Will he actually let CM Punk win on his way out? Which usually you would say no, he wouldn't do that. And we weren't privy to the information that, he had just resigned in the back and, it was all taken care of. But to us, it was just like, hey, this is it.
Yeah.
We're going all out, and so we're all yelling. And when CM Punk won that matchup, it was just one of the craziest experiences because you see Vince trying to, get Alberto Del Rio. Like, I'm not hearing commentary, nothing. I'm there, right? So I'm seeing him and I know what he's doing. You see Alberto come out. And then, CM Punk goes over the barricade. He blows the kiss to Vince. I see him run up the stage. I lost my voice at this point.
Out the crowd, title in his hand.
God, go! And he leaves. And I turn to my brothers. We're like, this really fucking happened. Holy shit.
Like, holy shit.
In the parking lot. CM Punk. Just like everyone's going nuts. Like, I'm going to be biased towards this matchup because of my experience. But ultimately for me, this was just such a memorable and for me iconic moment.
I hear you.
My first live experience.
Believe me, I'm gonna have that moment if we come up on another one during.
Yeah, I already know.
Because I was in the crowd for it. So I know where you're coming from here.
Yeah.
I can already feel mine coming. Like it better show up on the rundown.
Like it better.
But speaking of rundown, let's get to our next match, shall we? And the next match on the rundown. This is this is a doozy. Once again, drum roll, please. Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
4 words.
Ric Flair,
I'm sorry.
WrestleMania
I
24.
love you.
Yes.
5 words. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I love you.
Yes,
Oh my God, Flair in his retirement match against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. I don't know if I can start this one. Like, I'm tearing up just thinking about it. You know what? Let's since we called all the last, let's let Devin start this one off. Do you think this match is iconic? Where would you rank this, baby?
I would say iconic because this was the first time I cried during wrestling. Never cried before. Never cried until I saw this fucking match with the emotion, the ending. You know, he's fighting to the end. He's getting up. Got one last, fuck you in him, but he knows this is the end. But he's like, hey, I'm gonna go out on my 2 feet. And
right.
Sean
practically sticks his chin out. Just go ahead, do it.
Right. And Sean respects that too. And he just says, I love you.
I'm sorry.
It's like the perfect
I
word.
Love you. I was like,
and I was like, and 1, 2, 3. And next thing I know, I got tears in my eyes. I'm like, wow. I got caught up in the emotion.
You might as well just.
That was an iconic moment. That was an iconic, just the way the perfect send off, for a wrestler to have that type of career. Yeah. It was just a beautiful story, man. A beautiful story that had a great ending.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well just picture Devin and I sitting on a couch watching this crying together, because I agree with everything he said. It was an iconic match. It was a great finish to Ric Flair's career. And I think outside of like maybe Sting, the best guy to do it was HBK. You could not have picked anybody better. If you couldn't bring Sting in to do it, you might as well let HBK do it. That's all I got for it. Why don't we go from Devin? We'll go to Hafeez. Where would you put this match?
It's definitely an iconic matchup. It's interesting because when we're making this list, I went with just the matches that when I look at the match, it's the match that I consider like my favorites versus the greatest. And I wasn't thinking iconic at all. It was just like, oh, which ones like right away I can remember like move for move and everything. And for me, like there's so many moments that are just so like, wow, oh my God, like this, I can't believe this is the end, for this particular wrestler. For this one, and I'm agreeing, it's iconic. I kind of expected this to be the end. So I feel like I was ready for it to be the conclusion. So I didn't have the exact same emotion, but I felt it. I applauded. I was there for it. A couple other matches, like Stone Cold's last match, I didn't expect that to be his last match at 19. So when I saw The Rock kind of bend down and, he's talking to him, I was like, oh shit. Like this is it. This is it. Oh, no, I'm not ready for that.
No.
So like, it's one of those things where I felt like this was an appropriate send-off and an emotionally charged send-off, and definitely an iconic moment. It actually didn't get on my list, unfortunately. I'll just cop to that. I'll just cop to that because, and again, like reason being, like for me, it was more like, hey, what are my favorites? Like I don't consider this one of my favorite matches because it really did like suck to see. Like, oh shit, this is the end for Rick. Yeah. But I did feel like I was kind of expecting it too. Given like, because they said the next time he loses the match, that's it. So
I was ready for the end. I was not ready for the whole Flair standing there like half dead, holding his head up, and Shawn with tears in his eyes saying, "I'm sorry, I love you," and then kicking his friggin' hell. At that point, that got me. I was I'm done. I need a minute. So like I knew what was coming, but I didn't know exactly what was. I didn't know that was coming, And once they did it, and Shawn pulled it off so well, I was like, oh my God, like feels this is terrible. Like they tried to Ric Flair out the next night, and tears in my eyes. I'm like, oh my God. I can picture Ric Flair after the '92 Rumble. I'm like watching him going with a tear in my eye.
Oh man. Yeah, man. It was definitely iconic, though. Definitely iconic.
Definitely. Okay, let's move on to Grandma. Let's see if she agrees.
This one, and I'm not just saying
Leia
it because
so.
It's. That was not on my end, actually. No.
Oh, then Mika thinks so. My bad.
I'm not just saying it because it's Flair and because it's Michaels, two of my personal favorites, because I just have a soft spot for them. But this match definitely epitomized for me. I once heard, I can't remember where it was that I heard it or read it, but someone once said, every man in their twilight has that one last fight in them. And it felt like
Right back.
this definitely epitomized that for me. It was one of those things that like I didn't understand it until I saw it, kinds of things. And seeing it in Flair, it was like that's it right there. That's that last good fight in them, you know. And it was definitely an iconic moment. I mean, they played in everything, and even if you're a staunch diehard fan like we are, or just a fair weather, you know this moment. It's iconic. It's definitely an iconic.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. All right. I was gonna go to Bruce, but he's not here. So Gonzalo, do you agree with the group, or are you stepping out and just getting mad heat?
I can't, man. I can't.
If Gonzalo says it's not iconic, we riot.
We're heading down there to fight.
Okay, I'm done. Good night. No. Man,
Hey Google, book me a flight to Chile.
Man, this is definitely iconic. Actually, I always have in my mind one of the last promos they had previously that match when Sean called Rick an old dog, and
Old Yeller.
Rick,
Old Yeller.
he felt very offended, and man, seeing Rick so angry in that moment, that hyped me for the match, and I was like, damn, this is gonna be good.
Nobody got angry like Ric Flair, even to this day. Like Ric Flair freaking out and screaming and the vein popping out his head. And he rips
Nobody
the coat
bloods.
off, hits
Nobody
it with the
bloods
elbow
like
drop,
Ric
takes
Flair.
the Rolex off, you know.
Nobody bleeds like Flair.
No,
but
bleeds or gets angry like Ric Flair.
No, but
nobody.
This sounds like we're about to break into song. No one bleeds like Ric Flair. Like Ric Flair.
And then the drama.
The latest from Top Rope Wrestling Talk. Nobody does it like Nate.
And the drama that Sean puts on the match. He's one of the most dramatic wrestlers, but that's so cool on him because he makes him look so natural on him. Yeah. And man, was an incredible match with a perfect ending, and of course a perfect ending for Flair's career. I think that it wouldn't be in another way than it was with Sean. So what can I say? Just iconic.
All right, cool. All right, let's skip back since he's back now. High Class, would you consider Ric Flair's retirement match iconic?
No.
Oh, you got
no. It was an iconic moment, but the match itself was
smoke.
Was great.
Hey Google, book a flight to
but
Florida.
The moment makes it iconic, and we're not talking
meet me at
about
Richmond International.
iconic moments. We're talking about matches. The match to me was great. It was an iconic.
Wow. I thought we were friends.
There's other matches I voted for that blow that match.
All right, join us next week when Wendy and I will be discussing.
And there isn't many.
Hey, Google says some man too.
All right.
Hey, I'm keeping it real.
That's awesome.
No, that's cool,
awesome.
Brucey. I feel.
I mean, I respect. Like I said,
he's in a
didn't-
hostile environment like John Cena, and he's just standing there unafraid. That's respect.
I don't care.
You know, you have your opinion and you're entitled to it. It's just wrong, but
Exactly. Thank you, Grandma. I didn't want to say it, but
I'm always wrong. But hey, it's okay.
100 episodes, she's been saying all the
Okay with
stuff
that.
I don't want to say. You know. Go back to the clip of MJF. All right. Last but not least, my homeboy Felipe. Are you going to agree with the mob, or are you stepping out with Bruce?
Actually, I see the point of Bruce, actually, but
someone else
this
is wrong.
is a mix between a great match with iconic moments.
Yeah.
And for me,
Okay.
that put this match in his complete with storyline. The match itself is really, really great. And of course, I mean, if you got the Young Bucks doing the I'm Sorry I Love You in Dynamite, and this is the only retirement match where the guy who retires come back and wrestle, but nobody cares. And it's like almost, it's like everybody forgot that Ric Flair wrestled in TNA.
You know,
Like we all forgot about
I've never
that.
had a problem
We
with
see
that.
it.
I've never had a problem with a wrestler saying I'm retiring and then they pop back up a couple of years
They always
later,
do
like
that.
6 months, because it always
But
happens.
but
I still
Actors do
remember-
it, musicians do it.
I still remember
everybody does
trading
it.
tapes at one point to find Terry Funk's retirement match. And I finally got it and I watched it and it was a great match. I think it was against Bret Hart. 3 months later, he was in an ECW ring. 3 months.
Everybody does it. Everybody retires and they go back to work. I retired 4 years ago and
But
then I went
this
back
is-
to work
this
2 months
is-
later. We all do it.
We all do.
But when we talk about retirement matches, we all came with this.
I had retired from podcasting and now I'm 100 episodes deep. So
Oh yeah, look at the
that's real
Scorpions.
talk, folks. Brucey
Look at
backed
the
me up on this.
Scorpions,
We
man.
both retired and then we both came out.
Look at the Scorpions, man. They
They're
have
not
retired
retiring.
like
Came out of
five times,
retirement.
and now they have a new album.
All right. Well, I think the bulk of us consider the match iconic. Therefore, it is such. I have
Democracy in
spoken,
this case.
and I probably should have queued the next match, so I'm going to do that now.
We're labeling it iconic.
We're labeling it iconic. We have majority
Just
vote
a
on
side
it.
note. Just a side note. 5 votes for this match from all of 7.
Okay. I know I was one of them. And I
And
think I
there's
can
7
see
in
the
the
other 2 over here.
Hey man, see, I wish if I was thinking along those lines of okay, what are the most iconic matches, my list might have been a little bit different because some of the matches I'm thinking about that I voted for, I'm like, it's not iconic, it's just one of my favorites. It sticks
Yeah, my
close to my heart.
list was a bit short. I couldn't find like 19 or 20
You didn't even do
iconic matches. I was like, okay,
All right,
I'm
well,
stopping it.
That's cool.
let's just leave it at that, and let's move on to the next match, which is obviously going to be another classic if it made this list. But either way, drum roll, please. Oh, y'all. This is the match that basically sent WWE to where it is. Was like the foundation of everything you see today. WrestleMania 3. Hulk Hogan defends the world title against Andre the Giant. The slam heard round the world. And since we ended with Felipe, I'm going to go to Felipe first. Please tell me you consider this iconic.
Oof, it's hard because I just said that Michaels and Ric Flair had a great match with an iconic moment. This is a lousy match with an iconic moment. I still have love for this match. But
You're getting
I
the
have to be
psycho
honest.
eyes right now.
Keep it real, son.
Feel you. Yes, no.
I tried to find the real word, but this is a really lousy match because Andre the Giant, God rest his soul, he was no shape. He made a big effort. Actually, I was watching the WWE Most Found Treasures specials, and they did the one with Andre the Giant. So I have fresh memory of that match, and for me, it's an iconic moment. For me, it's a moment. It's important for WWE, yes, really important. But in terms of real importance, WrestleMania 1 was more important than WrestleMania 3. Without WrestleMania, we don't have WrestleMania 3. So this match, yes, it's an important match, but it's the moment that the slam that are rounded around the world.
Okay.
But what about the former 12 minutes?
Okay.
We have watched it in 2x. It's still gonna be.
I actually rewatched
It's still
this
gonna
match.
be slow.
Like over Father's Day weekend, I rewatched this match and I still enjoyed the hell out of it. I know it was probably Andre's like last gasp at that point, and all that, but he still put on a pretty damn good show considering the circumstances. It also took WWE and Hulk Hogan and Hulkamania to a whole other level as soon as he hit that slam. So I know it's iconic moments, but just when you consider the impact of that match, I'd have to say it was an iconic match. Just look at where things went from there. Look at how WWE grew. Look at what Hulk Hogan turned into. You know, the whole nine. And will we have what we have today without it? Probably not. Like, I agree with Felipe if we didn't have WrestleMania 1, but if we didn't have WrestleMania 3 and we didn't have this match, I don't know if WWE would be where it is. So for all that, I kind of have to consider it iconic. But I'm gonna defer to the high class one because he thinks he's smarter than me.
No.
You say about this match.
He thinks he's
Even though I'm
better,
proven wrong
not
all the
smarter,
damn
better.
time.
Get it
No,
right.
I-
Better than you.
Exactly. You think he's
There's
better
a
than
difference.
you.
Yeah.
He thinks he's better. I know. I'm
But
better.
again, like this, I'm got it. Like Felipe hit the nail on the head. If you think about this, all you think about is that body slam. You don't think about the clothesline in the first 2 minutes of the match, or you don't think about the chop from Andre. You don't think about everything that led up to that. When you talk about it, the body slam, that's it. It's a moment. It's a good match. It's a good
It's a
match.
huge moment. That's
It's-
for sure.
It's a good match with an iconic moment. It's a good match, in my opinion.
Okay. Gonzalo, weigh in on this bad boy next.
I can't believe what I'm gonna say, but I agree with Bruce. Yeah.
Wow.
Shock.
That's a first, y'all.
No,
Usually
but-
with me.
Okay, as soon as I have to admit that I'm not a Hulkamaniac and
Me either.
all this stuff. But of course, this specifically that moment marks a moment in WWE in their history. That marked the Hogan's career in the WWE and probably what will be after WWE. But I think that Andre the Giant was one of the most important Hogan's opponent on his career. Without
Definitely.
Hogan, without Andre, there wouldn't be a so successful Hogan in WWE. So
Now you're
I
agreeing with
think-
me.
Yeah. So I think that it's an iconic moment. That's it. Good
Okay.
match, but
Okay.
an iconic moment. That's it.
All right, Grandma. What do you think of this match?
I'm gonna echo what was said. It was like Brucey said. There's a lot of moments that it gets brought up, and if the match is not fresh in your mind, you don't think about those. Like you said, the chop. I had to think about it for a moment. I was like, oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. So yeah, it was an okay match. Definitely a moment.
Okay.
Mhm.
And of course, we're gonna swing right into Hafeez here. I think I already know where he's going. But what the hell?
Well, I'm not even sure yet. I guess I'm trying to figure out how we're defining an iconic match. Does it have to be a great technical wrestling match in order for it to be an iconic match? Because that's where I'm kind of torn. You
The
know,
whole-
I
like
wouldn't say so.
Actually,
Because like I said,
the
I
full
named it
package.
iconic because of the impact it had on
Mhm.
not only Hulk Hogan but WWE going forward.
Yeah,
I mean, they had a huge crowd. They had to
The
come
total-
through, and
the
if they
total
didn't,
package,
the
actually.
next year there
Yeah.
would have probably been 12 people at WrestleMania 4. But Hulk and Andre brought those crowds. It brought what they had, and everything changed from there.
Yeah, because like from a Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, guys like that. Like from a wrestling standpoint, I feel like I enjoy their matches and their in ring, much more than Hogan and Andre. But
Oh yeah,
I don't know that should necessarily mean that, and that's what I'm trying to wrestle with in my head. Like I feel like I was leaning towards maybe not saying it's an iconic match because I'm thinking like the match itself as a match, like as a technical wrestling matchup, was not anything special.
no, not at all.
They are two icons, themselves going against each other, and like it's like everything stood still and everybody wanted to see what was going to happen.
Yeah,
And it was the energy was there. It has a lasting impression. You can talk to people who don't know anything about wrestling and bring up those two names and they'll know it. There'll be
know.
people that just know you know, oh, Hogan, Andre, the body slam, like it sticks in your mind. It sticks in your mind. Basically, that moment is a lasting moment in history.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I kind of, if it's not the wrestling, if we're not saying that it has to be, you know, a great technical wrestling match, that it's just about, you know, that iconic feeling during the match. I think it is iconic, you know, from that standpoint. Take the wrestling out of it.
I mean,
you know,
technically, obviously, it falls flat, but this match was basically one icon passing the torch to another icon, to another soon-to-be icon, and basically putting him over.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, then what happens to WWE?
Yeah.
So that alone kind of makes it iconic to me, regardless of technical stuff or in-ring or anything else involved.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, because there's matches on here that I feel like are just much better matches, and I mean, there's one in particular that I'm really interested to get to. Hopefully, it's on the list. We'll see. But
I haven't even seen. I don't know.
as far
I'm not
as
cheating,
you know,
I swear.
just the feeling of an iconic match being between two, you know, these two guys who larger than life, and it what it meant overall, what that match means to wrestling on a whole, I would put it as iconic.
Thank you. This is why we're the Nigerian psychos. Now we're gonna move on to my main man, Devin here. What do you think? Is this match iconic, or is it just one of those iconic moments?
I am going to lean heavy on the side of iconic moment. Now, I'm going to...
My people, I have found you.
The reason why I say iconic moment, because, you know, I grew up, what is this, WrestleMania 3, so this is 1987. I was only 2 years old. So I didn't really grow up in
7.
I didn't really grow up in a golden era of wrestling. You know, I got wind of it. I knew who Hulk Hogan was. I knew who Macho Man Randy Savage was, or Ricky Steamboat, until I, you know, got older, and then the WWE network helped with that. So I ended up watching some of these matches, and this is one of the matches I remember watching, and I said, okay, I understood the story, both larger than life, two characters. You know what I'm saying? The story was basically like changing of the guard. I get that, and I saw the wrestling, and I just wasn't. The wrestling just wasn't clicking with me. You know, I saw the iconic. Well, okay, Hulk Hogan picked up, you know, Andre the Giant, slammed him down. You know, it was a great moment, but the wrestling with me, it didn't translate in an iconic match. And with the iconic match, you need to have the best of both worlds with me, like that moment with that wrestling.
Yes.
And that's the iconic match. Actually, that's a better match during that WrestleMania 3. That's an iconic match. That and an iconic moment.
And we might get to that.
We might get to that. I hope we talk about that.
I hope we do too, because I know what you're talking about.
That's actually a match I actually watched on WWE Network, and I could say, like, man, I could show a lot of people this match.
Yeah, we might get
this
to that.
story, or just people who want to get into wrestling, like about this match, and it'll be a great iconic match to watch. But that's how I feel on that match.
So real quick then, Devin, you are leaning more towards the wrestling from a technical standpoint then being important in defining it as iconic?
Yeah.
Okay, so for you personally, okay.
I guess to each their own, but you know.
I mean, you can have an iconic match with an iconic moment. Like when you have both of those together in one, that should be an iconic match. If you've got one and not the other, it's not iconic.
Just wait, guys, because we will see a lot of.
Yeah, we got a lot.
Sure, there's a couple.
I hope we get to that match Devin's talking about.
I know where we're
I
going.
want to do one question. I need to make one question.
What?
This is WrestleMania 3. In what year was this?
1987.
Yeah, I want to say 87.
Holy shit, I wasn't even born yet.
I wasn't even born yet. Jesus.
Yeah. I was born in 1992.
Depending on the month, my wife might not have been born. I don't know exactly. I think it happened in March and she was born in July, so she probably wasn't. But
I was born in 1992.
In fact, Slammiversary falls on her birthday, but that's a whole other subject.
Fucking old.
Moving on to the next match.
Processing Gonzalo.
Damn
right
right
now.
I'm
It's
old.
sad.
Before, so we put this as a moment.
I guess we're gonna put it as like
It's
a
good.
moment.
I think it's a moment. Yeah, it's not enough.
Everybody
for
says the
majority.
iconic moment.
The funny
Majority
thing
is
was
saying
that-
iconic moment.
Decided.
Yeah.
The funny
you,
thing
Devin. I was waiting for
this
that.
match.
I hear it
the funny
on
thing was
Clark
that
Street. I was waiting for it.
This match
decided.
was moved between two categories: iconic and moment. Nobody.
Yeah, we'll put it in moment though, because that was the majority.
Yeah.
Majority
I can side with
rules
that.
in this
I can side with
discussion.
that. More so a moment.
And with that being said, let's move on to the next match. I'll hit the drum roll real quick.
Let's see.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, obviously I know which match this is. I don't know where it's from.
Hey.
Felipe, would you like to help us out?
Hey, I know that one.
No, I didn't
X7.
saw it. Sorry, I didn't saw it.
What'd you say, Hafeez? I'm sorry.
That's got to be X7
I-
with Stone Cold.
WrestleMania 17?
Which one? I didn't see the picture. Sorry.
Oh, it was Stone Cold versus The Rock from, I believe,
WrestleMania
WrestleMania
X7.
7.
Yeah.
X7.
So that
17,
one,
yeah.
that one wasn't on the list. So was there a bunch
It
of people
was
that
on the
wrote that?
list.
It was on the list because
It was on the list.
Yes.
There was
on the
another
list.
one.
I didn't see it.
They were the two. The 15
Y'all
and
weren't
the
looking.
17.
That's all I can say. So
because I would have told.
They
I
put
wrote
it
that
the-
one
the
in.
two.
That's how
you
I did
wrote
not
that
see
one
that
in.
one on the list.
Well,
I did.
it got a
yeah.
vote regardless.
Yes.
Actually, this
Was the
beat
championship
the
no
other one.
DQ?
Yeah, the no DQ was
Yeah.
the first one. That was the first time they fought
Yeah,
at
that was
Mania,
the
no?
first one.
The second was no DQ. Remember?
Oh, was it? Were both of them?
This is
Oh,
when-
okay. Okay. Either way, it's Stone Cold versus The Rock at WrestleMania 17. And since I've been snake drafting it all night, we're gonna go back to Devin for this one. Where would you put this match in the grand scheme of great matches?
Oh my God. So Stone Cold is my favorite wrestler. All right, just gonna put
I'm
it out
rocking
there.
the Stone Cold tribute look right here with
There
the
you go.
face hair and the
There you
bald
go,
and all that.
goatee.
Just squint.
Yeah. And got the bald head and represent bald head.
Talk about your son.
There we
talk
go.
about your-
Austin 316. Because I just
There you go, Bruce.
Hey.
Take that hat off, man.
Baldy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Baldy.
Got
There you go.
We got 4 baldies in the house.
There
Stone
we
Cold,
go,
we love
there
you.
we go.
We salute you, but it's disrespectful.
Yes,
Sorry,
sir.
Devin. Please elaborate, my friend.
It's crazy because we was just talking about this match, like after the show, because we recorded Tuesday, and we
Yep.
were just talking about how that promo and I should have saw it when Stone Cold said those words to Rock. He was like, "I need this, Rock, more than you ever know." And I was like,
that was like
I
a
should've
huge
just-
bowl. It
I
was just
should've
here's your
just-
foreshadowing.
Right.
Oh.
I should have hanged on to that, but I just dismissed
But we
it.
didn't want to because we were
Right.
marks. We were like, nah, he don't mean that. He don't mean
right.
And these guys,
He would never. Not to me.
and these guys, this match, they have great chemistry. The whole back and forth, the brawler, the brawler that Stone Cold is, and the elegance of his wrestling. The Rock is a little more graceful. But still, these two guys still just have an awesome match, and that's what it was. But the ending, I remember being so pissed off. I
thought it was great.
He hits the Rock with the chair. He gets the pin. He shakes the hand of Vince McMahon.
The man he's been stunning for years.
I was
Motherfucker.
livid.
That's how bad he wanted
Now I
it.
will
That's
salute
how
you,
bad
Stone
he
Cold,
wanted
because
it.
that fucking moment.
Yes. I was like, oh, that hurts my
moment right
soul right there. That was my
Oh,
man.
Oh, just a
That
little
was my
piece of me.
man.
A little piece of me died that moment right
To
there.
me, that was an iconic. That was an iconic match. So I gotta say.
Okay. Hafeez.
Oh man, it's an iconic match. I'm just not even gonna bury the
He's like,
Yeah,
I'm
for
done.
me, dude. The Rock
Iconic
and
mic
Stone
drop.
Cold for me, like as far as like Mount Rushmore guys for me, like those two faces are definitely on there. Love those guys, and the build up for that. Like I just remember the oh my god, so much going on with this with the Limp Bizkit, promo
Oh,
video.
yeah.
It's my way,
My
way.
way.
That just that, the way they
Chrissy
put that all
loves
together.
that.
Oh,
He was a
dude.
huge
Especially going
Limp
on tour
Bizkit
this
head.
summer.
Oh, I loved it. It was
I
great.
read, but I got it backwards.
yes, yes. Just
Griff, that's for you.
Yes.
If we keep rolling.
No,
That too. They loved Limp Bizkit
Yo,
back then.
Red
Bro. They
Cap.
loved it.
yo, Red Cap.
Just everything about this was just great. Like I said, the buildup was great. The matchup itself, just back and forth. Vince McMahon coming down and helping Stone Cold. Stone Cold taking the chair, hitting the Rock still kicking out, and Stone Cold being like, "What? Okay, this is what's gonna take." Bop, 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 and just I felt it, and you see it in Stone Cold's face, looking at Vince like, "What's it gonna take to put this guy out?" Wins it. The two of them shake hands. They share the beer together. I was just like, wow.
Oh, don't remind me.
Oh man. It was
pain,
just
laughing,
iconic in so
pain.
many ways. Their sit down interview, going back and forth, telling each other how much it meant to them. Deborah, was involved in the storyline too, and managing the Rock, and her getting hurt, and then Stone Cold seeing that and taking it out on the Rock, and just oh, dude, there was so much there. So yeah, I love this match. This is like for a long time, this was my number one match. Period. I just love it. I love it. So that's why I wrote it in. When I didn't see it, I couldn't tell. I was like, oh no, X7.
No, it's got to be there.
Needs to be there.
We need to put these on. All right.
Love it. Iconic match.
So Grandma, do you agree with everybody? Is this match iconic in your
Oh
eyes?
yeah, wholeheartedly. Watching a highlight reel right now, I'm like, oh, that's right. That's right. You
Share
see
your
me
screen.
looking
No, I'm
down,
kidding.
that's what I'm
I'm
doing.
kidding.
I'm watching
We'll get
highlight
through
reels of the things we're discussing. Yeah, Hundo P, this is definitely up there.
Watch it again after the show.
You think you're special.
I'm gonna have to watch it again.
You do.
I can see it in your eyes. I don't know. Let's take a small break to remind people.
PTSD flashbacks to my
Maybe
teenage years.
for the people who are
Round
just
on.
tuning in and haven't watched, like
And it just
people
keeps
who are
going.
just tuning in have not watched like 99 episodes of this show. We, the TRWT3, will break out in the song at any occasion. So this is perfect for episode 100.
This is apt for us.
We're like the Brady Bunch of Limp Bizkit.
Oh my
We got
God.
the squares and everything.
Oh man.
All right.
Wasn't the
High
album
class.
called Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water?
Yes.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Ugh, I hate that I remember that.
I know a man that
I hate
doesn't.
myself.
The high class one. Weigh in on this. Do you consider this match iconic?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. This match
one's pretty easy, I think.
from top to bottom, it was awesome. Like just like Hafeez and Devin said, from the build all the way through the match to the iconic moment of the match when Stone Cold is drinking a beer with Vince McMahon. Listen, when I went to work the next day, you guys know this is the 90s, the end of the 90s, early 2000s, end of the Attitude Era, middle of Attitude Era. Like, there were people that like lost their shit that I knew that Stone Cold like went corporate. Like, there was people talking to me about it that I didn't even know watched wrestling, and we're talking about this, and I'm like, that happened.
I feel like
it was amazing.
Can we all just agree it's iconic and sing some more Limp Bizkit? I also feel like after that match, I looked at Stone Cold and I went, "You and me are through.
We are
I just wanted to break something tonight.
I was like a fucking chainsaw that night."
If you excuse me, I'm gonna stand up to sing this song.
Gonzalito, you want to weigh in on this? Do you consider it iconic?
Well, I have to say a few things about this. Number one.
He's got the album. He busted out the album. CD, yes.
Little boys and girls out there, that's called
digital.
a compact disc.
Not a digital copy.
For those kids of today,
That's what
this
we
is
used
like
before the iPod.
this is the Spotify on those
Yes.
on our
Oh yeah.
on my
It's your
time.
iPod, it's your Spotify.
Oh yeah,
It's all that shit. We didn't have phones back then that did all that. We didn't have phones. Period.
I had like a trapper keeper of CDs just turning
Oh,
in
I
my
still
car.
have mine.
Like,
I still have my
Dude,
big
bro, like
binders.
right
I was
over
gonna say,
here.
I got
I got
mine.
5 of them. Man. This
What
thing.
are you guys talking about? I was still recording shit off the radio on the tape.
That's awesome.
Yo,
Yeah,
yo,
no,
by
totally.
that
Hey,
point,
struggle.
Like, you're like,
by
your
that
song
point,
came on
real.
and you gotta time it just
like
right.
honestly,
Oh, man.
and if you don't know, kids, look it up. By that point, Napster was like my best friend, y'all.
Metallica ruined it.
Fucking Metallica.
So back in 10 years, 20 years ago, actually, I went to those music stores with my mother and my middle brother, and I heard the first Slim Bizkit album, Significant Other, because my cousin had it. So I saw this and I was like, oh, cool. So I heard a sample of this album and it was, Mom, I want this. My brother liked it too. So my mom bought it. And we heard Rolling actually before Undertaker came in with the music and our mind blown. But that was awesome. So, and
You
I
agree
remember
with me
that.
on one thing, Gonzalo? American Badass was by far better than Rolling when it came to the Dead Man.
Oh, that's hard.
When he came out to Kid Rock on the
man,
bike
that's
and the bell and all that shit. It was
Oh yeah,
perfect.
the girl. I like the girl's
Came down
speech.
that
I'm
Harley.
some baby down to sleep under my silence.
You know, all that trippy little girl stuff, and then the bell would hit, and you'd hear American Badass start playing, and he'd come out on the bike and everything. It was like, oh, this is
Actually,
I was kind of, I wanted to be mad at Undertaker for changing
Gentlemen
his
that are
gimmick, but
just
when it was
tuning in
that,
for
I
the
was like,
very
never
first
mind, I'm
time,
cool.
this is top rope music talk.
Hey, music and wrestling are
let
connected.
me-
Did
let
y'all
me-
watch WrestleMania? Did you see Bad Bunny in the ring? Music and wrestling are like this, all the way back to Cyndi Lauper,
They're
Lou
like this.
Albano, and shit.
I like that.
Give me a
Learn,
special,
children, learn.
give me a special music edition of Top Rope Wrestling Talk, and I will talk all night long.
God, if they
But-
let me get away with it, we totally do it, bro.
But no, the thing is, of course, the meaning that Limp Bizkit was in that match, and somehow it made it more special. And of course, I agree with you. Stone Cold, especially, and The Rock were something popular, even for people who didn't watch wrestling. And of course, I think especially this match specifically, of course, when we saw finally the two big enemies like Vince and Austin shaking hands, man, that was something in the other level. And
That was
wanna
iconic. That was for damn
that
sure.
was iconic.
That was
Maybe not in
We
a
have
good
to-
way.
Sure.
That shit was iconic.
Yeah, talking about iconic moments and iconic matches, we have this one. But I want to just close my this idea with this one. 20 years ago, I was in the school. I was like fourth grade or so. Yeah, fourth grade. And we have those
20 years.
anniversary.
Right, don't remind me, y'all.
Yeah, like, that's in-
Don't remind me.
I was in college.
And I was,
Hated myself, but hey,
sorry guys.
Weird middle child
20 years
as
ago, I
always.
was
I was in high school.
Honestly,
was
20 years
9.
ago, I was DJing college radio.
I was 9 in that time.
I was
And the
working
thing
on
is-
Blockbuster.
Records, y'all. Wax.
And the thing is, we were on the school, and of course we were doing those anniversary edition of the school. We all the grades were there. And the thing is, on one of the part of the shows, some students went and they do a dance, and they end, you know what, wrestling like a Royal Rumble.
What?
So at the end of the day, one of our teachers actually he sounds the Stone Cold music, and he came with a leather jacket, and he kicked the ass out of the students, and we were like, yeah! And the teacher were celebrating with some some soda cans, of course, because we were in school. But then, and he did the thing, and I was like, damn it. And that is a big show of how popular was Stone Cold back in the day.
That's true. That's very true.
Wow.
So
All right.
that was awesome.
I'm
So
gonna
that was
add.
one. Thank you.
I'm gonna add 3 things to this, and then I'm gonna pass it to Felipe. One, I saw Limp Bizkit live, unfortunately, from the front row, and they weren't that good.
Unfortunately.
They weren't that good, y'all. Hundo P, son. They weren't that
Oh
good.
God, no.
2, the end of this match broke my fucking heart. I was literally like 20 and I was heartbroken like a child. 3, if this match or any match that Stone Cold and The Rock had wasn't iconic, I don't know what the fuck is. So I agree. I'm done. Felipe, wrap us up, homie.
I think this match is iconic for the wrong reasons. For me, this WrestleMania, this match is my.
I mean, you're not wrong.
My adolescence. It's all my adolescence. It's my beginning for me to get in the ring here in my 18s. All that. But after hearing all of you talking about how iconic this match, and that's the thing, the but, because if this match would have ended Stone Cold winning, kicking out McMahon, everybody happy, maybe WWE would change in the fact that after this WrestleMania, for me, I consider this match the end of the Attitude Era. After that, ratings went down. Stone Cold heel was the worst idea for me. He could be the face against the Alliance, for example.
Oh, God, Stone Cold with the Alliance. Ugh.
Exactly. We have all that for this match. It's iconic. Yes, I love this match. Yes, but the end is it broke all our hearts, and that's a fact. For me, it's iconic, but for the wrong reasons.
I'm gonna swipe something from Devin, and I'm gonna say it is decided. This match is iconic. Put it on the list.
I think this
Sorry,
whole
bro, I had to
pay-per-view.
do it.
I think this whole pay-per-view is iconic, actually.
It kind of is. It really is. I've got the card running through my head, and I'm like,
and I'm
that
not
really
saying
was kind of like an iconic Mania back.
and I'm not saying because Motorhead played live in this pay-per-view. Okay?
No, of course not. That has nothing to do with it. No. All right,
And
let's
once
get to
again,
the
play for the loser guy.
let's get to the next match here. Cue this bad boy up. Hit the drum roll. British Bulldog versus Bret Hart in Wembley Stadium. Was this SummerSlam?
Yes.
Yeah, it's SummerSlam.
From Wembley Stadium in
Wembley.
England?
92, right?
90, yeah.
1992. August.
Yes,
1992.
92.
August 1992.
Yeah.
Wembley Stadium,
Amazing
SummerSlam.
moment. Amazing moment for the UK fans and for Davey. But was it an iconic match? And we're gonna start where we ended with Felipe.
This is hard actually for me because I watched this match in a watch along with Bret Hart, and the way he talked about this match, how he came out with the Bulldog, it was like science. It was like art, and this match for me is art. But I don't know, because for me it's iconic because first of all it's in Wembley.
Right.
It's the only wrestling show on Wembley Stadium, 80,000. And the fact is that this match is not for the WWE title, it's for the Intercontinental title. That makes this match,
which was
more
brilliant
important.
when you consider where they are and you know who's in it and
the
nine.
story of Bret and the Bulldog, the family. I want to say iconic. It's a great match. But I don't know. I will say iconic for now, but maybe, I don't know. It's between great and iconic.
Now, before I say anything, I gotta ask these guys. Don't you wish we could name drop like Felipe? Like, oh, I was watching this with Bret Hart the other night.
It's me, and
No,
Bret.
no,
I am not worthy
to
to
watch along.
I am not worthy of being on a show with you. I'm just saying. Now that's out of the
awesome.
way.
That's
I'm
awesome.
sorry. I had to get it off my, because I don't have a filter, so I had to spit it
I
out.
would invite you.
Let me get back to the task at hand. When we went over Andre and Hulk, especially Devin and Hafeez went back and forth about, does it have to have the technical side or the moment or the impact or whatever. I feel like this match had it all. It had the moments. It had the technical. It definitely had the technical with Bret Hart involved. It had an impact, especially on international fans, UK fans. I mean, you know, think about how many kids probably sat in that crowd, watched that match, and then later down the line became wrestlers because they sat in that crowd. So just looking at the overall impact, the match itself, the technical ability, that moment of Davey Boy standing there with 80,000 British people just cheering and screaming and losing their minds as he's holding that title up, I'd have to call it iconic. I don't know what else to call it. Like, it had its great moments. It was technical. It made a huge impact. It's got to be. Gonzalo, would you agree?
Absolutely. Actually, this is one of my go-on matches. When someone who wants to learn a little bit more about wrestling, I recommend this match. When anyone wants to say, "Hey, show me a good match from the past," because a lot of people, of course, especially from my generation, grow up with the Attitude Era. So they say, so some people always tell me, "Hey, what kind of match would you recommend me to watch?" And I say, "Man, watch this one. You wanna love it." And then they come back and say, "Man, you were right. It's awesome."
There was a match that Devin had broached, and I don't know if we're gonna get to it, so I'm not gonna name it. But that was a recommendation along with this match, because these are those matches when you look at it, like if you looked up like professional wrestling match, there's a picture of these two in the ring right next to it.
And I agree with the fact that the fact that it was for the Intercontinental Championship, it makes it more magical. Yeah, definitely. I think it's deserved for the WWE Championship match without a
it was deserving. Don't get me wrong. I think if it was a WWE Championship, but the way they use the Intercontinental title, being that, you know, it's a British guy and a Canadian in Wembley,
absolutely,
you know, it just kind of put that nice little bow on top of the epic present that they were handing you.
By the way, I don't want to bother you, but I was 5 months old when this match happened.
I
Point out
I was not.
how old I am, please.
I know, they keep reminding us, Percy. It's like, I get it. I'm fucking old, okay?
Love you guys.
Great.
I'm old, but I still look good. That's all I'm saying.
You still got it.
You suck.
What the fuck?
Damn right, I'm gonna clap for myself. Okay, now, Percy. If you're, I know
This
you're old
match-
enough to remember. So if you don't have something going on like senior moment, would you consider it iconic?
Dude, it's iconic all the way around. And you said it, Dom. It had technical wrestling. It had great storytelling. It had a tremendous story behind it, you know. And if I remember, I'm probably wrong because I usually am, but I believe Bulldog actually won this match with a roll up. With a school
Yes, I just watched the highlight
with
reel.
a roll up.
Yes,
There was no power slam.
I just
The
need to
most
refresh
there
your
was
powerful
no
memory,
move
man.
in wrestling history, the roll up.
Yes.
He won it on a
Best finisher ever, man.
roll up.
It was a real
It's
clean
back.
finish.
Yes.
Who says you can't have an iconic match with a roll
roll-up.
up finish?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you can. Absolutely.
Oh, you certainly can. You certainly can. And again, this is why now Brucey and I are now best friends again. This is why we've done 100 episodes of this. This is why we were rolling in a whole other podcast group before this. You know, he and I are OGs. So and now on to the newest member of our family that made us whole for these 100 episodes, Grandma Wendy. What do you think of this match?
After having watched the highlight reel as a quick refresher, because I did not make time to rewatch these matches.
I watched.
Hey,
a
at least
lot
I'm
of
being
them.
honest. At least I'm being
Watched
honest.
a
Right?
lot of them
It's the
Sunday.
end of the fiscal year. Cut me some slack, y'all.
Slack cut, homegirl. Do your thing.
Definitely an iconic match. What I enjoyed watching this highlight reel though is how they showed that they would cut over to British Bulldog's wife / Bret Hart's sister.
Bret Hart's sister.
For
yes.
reactions constantly, and she'd just be
drama.
like, "Oh," like every time so close, you know. So it was very like relatable in that regard. Because as a kid growing up, like I loved Bret Hart, I love British Bulldogs, so I could definitely relate. Yes, definitely a lot of like
Right.
early Britt Baker before Britt Baker, you know.
Long before. Britt Baker might not even have been born. No, I love Bret Hart too.
And
No
like
lie.
y'all said, like there was a lot of like technical, a lot of moments. Overall, a very exciting match. I think, yeah, no, definitely iconic.
I wish
in
I
my
could show
opinion.
them to you because I'd still have them otherwise. At a live show at the Spectrum in Philly, I was in the front row. I was a kid, and Bret Hart actually put his glasses on me. Unfortunately, they burned down in house fire,
Ooh.
or else they'd be sitting here with the rest of my shit. So I love Bret Hart, and honestly, going into that match, I didn't care the British Bulldog was like home or anything. I wanted Bret to win, and by the end of it, when Davey won, I wasn't even mad. I was like, "This is fucking beautiful."
100%. I agree. There was like no way to be mad. It was such a good match. You couldn't be mad.
Adding Davey's wife / Bret's sister just added to that drama, that story, that psychology that they were going through in this match, and it just made it that much more iconic. So I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yep.
Kudos for watching the highlight reels while we're doing this.
Right in
On
the
to
middle of the show.
Hafeez. Nigerian Nightmare.
Man.
Go for it, homie.
It's an iconic match. It's an iconic match. And I haven't seen this match in years, but just in my memory, you know, the environment, Wembley Stadium, it was just such a, you could feel it. You could feel it through the screen, just how much everybody was into it. Bret Hart, I have so much respect for him. Just as far as like top technical wrestlers ever, he could be my number one. You know, like just
he
on
is
the
the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
Like just
Damn
facts.
right.
Like that man, just he's amazing.
That was not a gimmick. That was a shoot.
No, he lived it. He lived
There's a reason that there's so many of his matches that were on this list, and it's because he's just such a great tactician in the ring.
Absolutely.
And told a great story with his wrestling, you know, and then the family element in this matchup too. It's just like there's just so much storytelling going on.
So many layers.
Yeah, exactly.
So many.
Exactly. So it's iconic.
When
Okay.
stories were
I
done
figured.
right.
Let's see if Devin actually makes this one unanimous, because we haven't had that yet. We've had majority rules. We haven't had
No.
unanimous decision.
I can be indifferent, right? Indifferent. Maybe no. This definitely was iconic, man.
Yes.
And this is a match, like I said before, is I had to watch later in life, you know, primarily because of the WWE Network. But man, I definitely appreciate Bret Hart's game. It just reinforced. It just reinforced of why, you know, it includes one of my favorite wrestlers of being like my favorite, my favorite match of why the reason why I love wrestling too, and it includes Bret Hart. And this right here in 1992 for the IC title against the British Bulldog. Oh my God. Just watching the replay, seeing the build up, the promo. I'm like, whoa, hold on. Like this dude it's like married into the family, a wrestling family, like the dungeon.
Right.
I'm like, bro, that's like some shit.
Royalty.
Right, Bret Hart's sister.
being married into
That's
royalty.
Bret Hart's
Right.
sister right there in the crowd watching.
Oh shit.
Like who's she choosing, bro? Like that's like your brother or your husband. I'm like,
Oh my God. Yeah.
it's
Like
like my
that.
mind is like, oh, the ring psychology.
This match is perfect
Yes.
for South
Yes.
Park.
Yes.
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 This match
you know
is
what?
perfect
I'm like,
for South Park
man.
kids.
I was missing
with-
wrestling like around 7 years old. Like, whoa,
He's
I'm like,
married to
man.
his sister?
Oh
my God.
Blew my fucking mind too, man. I had no clue until that night, and then I was like, oh my God. Like immediately my next thought was like, this shit is gonna be good.
And it was, man. The story, the wrestling that matches with the story. This is definitely an iconic match.
Definitely. And I want everybody to notice, I don't care if it's 100 episodes, social media, the show, whatever. This might be the very first time that all 7 of us actually agreed on some shit. Note the date, note the time. Right here on episode 100, y'all. Miracles happen.
5
That's all
Central
I'm saying.
Chicago time here.
That's one because this match is the first one that we all agree.
Yeah, it's unanimous. It is seriously decided this time.
Yeah.
All right, so we finally got a unanimous decision on one. Let's see if we can get it. If we can get 2 in a row.
Oh man.
This.
Second one.
Yeah, that's the thing. So is this the first or second?
I believe it's
WrestleMania
first one?
25. WrestleMania 25, Houston, Texas. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. The
Okay.
first one.
the first
On
one.
WrestleMania.
Yes.
The first one on WrestleMania.
Oh man. Oh
Not the retirement.
Not the retirement match. No, but okay, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because I want to jump in. But it is the tribal chief's turn, so I have to acknowledge him and let him kick off the category. You consider this match iconic, my brother.
Man.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
my
He's like,
goodness.
I didn't want to start this one.
I was
the
I
pressure.
was gonna say I'm gonna defend
Pressure.
this match with my life.
This might be more pressure
Yeah.
than making it unanimous, y'all. This might.
I'm
be.
ready to fight.
This is really like a big fucking appetizer into the second match they had at the next WrestleMania. But the first one, oh man, okay, so this is when you got Mr. WrestleMania going against, all right, the Streak. He's feeling himself. He think he's the right man. He think he's the next man. I understand the story. I'm like, oh yes.
You got two Texans. You got two Texans in Texas, in Taker's backyard.
If you can believe anybody, this is him. This
is literally Taker's yard, but HBK's is right down the street.
Yeah,
Man.
the battle of the
Well,
neighborhood.
I'm going to say this is an iconic moment. I'm going to say iconic moment
Wow.
because of I'm going off just off the story that they told, but the rematch was just way better in the story with it.
Okay.
That's the reason why.
That's a way to kick us off.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the way. But speaking of the way, let's
But
move
that's
on to
how I feel.
Hafeez.
That's how I feel.
So I hear what my co-host is saying about the
Your
match.
right hand podcast host.
You calling him the right hand?
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes, I am.
Oh man. You heard it here. I didn't say it.
Yeah, you did.
Did I miss you with that shot? My bad. I'll get you next time. I'm kidding.
You know, I hear what Devin's saying about the second match. Like I personally agree that I love the second match more. Even over time, you know, I felt like it grew in my mind. The story of that match even grew so much more because he really was gone. Like he years and years and years not wrestling, wanting to keep to his promise. This was his last match. So that second match, and actually, I think I wrote this one in too. I wrote in a couple. Like I was wanting the second one on there versus the first one. But
Right.
I do believe that the first one was an iconic match. Just because Undertaker matches at WrestleMania, for me, there was a streak of matches that he had at WrestleManias where I just felt like, wow, this is amazing, and it just made, like, in terms of like Batista even and Randy Orton,
Yeah, he got on
like,
that roll where it was like
Yeah.
5 or 6 or 7 WrestleManias in a row. You thought, wow, this match is epic. How's he going to top that? And then the following year he did, and then the following year he did, and then the
yes.
following year he did. And you were like,
Batista, Edge, Michael, Triple H, CM Punk.
Edge, yes, just in a row. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness.
like there were
And-
a few years in a row where Undertaker had these amazing matches, and of course it's Taker, so you kind of expect it, but at the same time I'm thinking like, fuck Shawn Michaels, that's Mr. WrestleMania, and then the next thing you know, look who we got at WrestleMania.
They put them together. They said, let's let them duke it out.
Right, let's find out who Mr. WrestleMania really is.
So I do think this is an iconic matchup. I just feel like the match was great. The buildup was great. You know, for Shawn, I mean, even so, I actually watched some of the Raws and before this, and he was going through this whole thing with JBL and, you know, the family thing. He was you know, just kind of introspective moment for himself in his life, and was getting out of being JBL's like ownership or whatever. Like JBL kind of wanted to own him, and then he broke out of that, and then it was like, okay, now I am going to WrestleMania. I'm going to prove I'm Mr. WrestleMania, and I'm gonna, you know, go against Undertaker, break the streak. And that matchup, both times when Shawn went against Undertaker, I thought, this is it. It's happening. Like, Shawn is gonna be the guy to beat him. With their storied history, all the matches, the other iconic matches that they've had, you know, in my opinion, you know, like the Hell in a Cell match that they had, you know, was another moment that I'm like, wow, holy shit. So just knowing their history and then going into that match, I'm saying, is this when Shawn gets him? And he didn't, but it was perfect. And then, yes, leading into that next one, it was even more so emotionally charged now because it was the retirement match. And that one too, I can remember the music and running up that hill, you know, like it was like that. I remember it like it was yesterday. Just that was one, you know, and all due respect to the Shawn and Ric Flair matchup, it was emotionally driven. It hit, I thought Shawn was gonna win. So when he lost, that emotionally for me, I was like, I'm not ready for this. Shawn's done. What?
There were a lot of Taker matches at Mania where I was like, oh, he's got this. And then Shawn Michaels came up and I went, oh shit, this could be it. This could this could be the one. Like Mr. WrestleMania drops him and takes his streak right here. Like, holy shit, like this could happen. And then when it didn't, it was like, whoo, he's safe for the rest of his life. And then they had a rematch the following year. I was like, no. And Shawn's career is on the line. Oh, he's done.
Oh my god. And Shawn came down like he was God or something. Like the lighting and all that.
All that white.
We're getting just a teensy bit ahead of ourselves.
Okay,
so
I
want to try to reel it back a little bit, and no disrespect to the Nigerian Nightmare, but I want to hear what the native Texan has to think about two of her favorite sons. So, Grandma Wendy, do you consider this match, the first between Taker and Shawn Michaels, iconic?
After watching the highlight reel,
I love her. I really do.
She's
literally
honest.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not
She's
going to lie to
thorough.
y'all. Why am I going to lie? So after watching this highlight reel, holy fuck, how could someone not consider that iconic? Like, the shit Taker was pulling out. Like, what the hell? Oh my god. And Michaels with his, I was like, what? I don't know if you guys noticed a few times, I was like, oh, yeah, no, because that's how thrilling it was. And that's just the highlight reel. Highlight reel has me doing that. Gonna have to go back and watch this one. I label it iconic. Fucking Taker doing the tope over the top rope.
Right, so when he was still doing
like
that.
he was 100 pounds? What? Like he's Jungle Boy Jack doing like it's nothing. Okay, iconic.
Like yeah, I hear you.
I'm done. This shit's iconic.
I'm still trying to keep my mouth shut because I'm, but no, it's not my turn. High class. It's high class turn. Weigh in on this bad boy, homie.
Oh man.
I agree.
I agree.
Here we go.
Okay, that was his 2 cents. Moving on. No plan.
No, let the floodgates of insults come in. Around this time, this is around the time where I started getting, I don't know, wanting Taker to retire and be like, dude, it's over, it's done, you know. And I saw Shawn coming to the end. Like I pretty much watched Shawn from his first day in WWF all the way to his last day in WWE. Like for me, it was a great match. But yeah, for me, it was, those guys were way past their prime and shouldn't have been in that high of a card on WrestleMania. Wow. But it was a great match. I just
He wants to smoke.
I feel like
I ain't even say all that.
What was it like? Was it the principal of Billy Madison? That's how I'm feeling right now. Like you're wrong. You receive 0 points, and God have mercy on your soul. Gonzalo, teach this man.
This wasn't bad.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. That was when
trying to influence.
Taker was wrestling one day a year.
I know
like
my
no.
Undertaker.
The following content is paid by now.
The following is brought to you by Dead Man Inc.
There are a lot of things to say about this match, actually, because first and foremost, Taker is still as an active competitor in that match. He started to leave the full-time part in 2010. So, man, I think there are a lot of things about between the two HBK versus Taker matches, because even in my mind, I create a whole story that it would have worked much better for Taker and HBK on their retirement match. But and there's a promo with a message of The Undertaker that is still working in my mind and I apply every day.
go fuck your not that one.
Not that one.
No, no, that one.
According to
That might
Iron Sheik's
apply in
Twitter.
my real life. I'm not gonna confirm nor
Uh,
deny.
And it's Undertaker saying, "Sometimes it's hell getting to heaven."
Yeah.
He said that to HBK at the Royal Rumble 2009 when he was with that story with JBL,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a very good match. I think the first one is more like a physical one, and the second one is more like a dramatical. It's more dramatic.
Mhm.
But I think this match had all the components to be a good match. Well, these two guys had a really good chemistry, and I like that game of Shawn coming from the heaven and Undertaker rising from the depths of hell. That's, man, you won't have that combination, that chemistry in any other kind of match, not even an MJF match. This is something
Damn.
unique. and,
All of a sudden, you can't see me because of the shade.
Does it get a little dark in here all of a sudden?
Right? He just casting his
Throw it all you want.
The shade of it all.
prepare
Gonzalo wants to smoke.
prepare for the 200 episode of Top Row Wrestling Talk versus myself. Okay, so,
Oh my god, we gotta crank these episodes out then. Like one a day.
but man, now seriously, this is an epic match, epic moment. The only thing that I think everyone should agree with me that fuck up that moment was Sim Snuka. Wasn't this match?
Oh man, I remember that.
Yeah,
Just a little bit. Just a little bit, yes.
man, and that was like when he slid up and fall, I was like, holy shit, this is okay. Because well, okay, Taker moves well in that moment, but man, he has his age, so we have to worry about.
Yeah, you do get a little nervous.
What are you talking about when he did the jump? Is this the one where he landed like
On his
awkwardly
face?
after
Yeah.
doing
Oh,
the
the
oh
tope?
yeah.
He was
I
supposed
remember
to
that.
grab
Face.
Taker.
He
Yes,
looked like a
and he
long
didn't,
dart.
and I thought he was dead. Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
You had one job, Sim. You had
One fucking job.
Oh,
So now, but
Poor guy.
that's epic,
I hear you.
iconic.
I hear you.
Sorry.
If I had, I know people say the second one is better than the first one, and I can't argue that. But I'm going to take you to another realm because if y'all haven't learned by like 100 episodes, I'm a Star Wars guy, and we all know, at least most of us know and believe that that Empire Strikes Back is by far superior to A New Hope. But you could not have The Empire Strikes Back without it. And A New Hope is iconic regardless of how good Empire was. This fits right here. Like the second match was great, but without this, we would have never had that bill. We would have never gotten to this. The stakes wouldn't have raised nothing. And it was a tremendous match on its own. Like I said, two Texans. Oh shit! There goes Brucey. I hope he's
Bruce
back.
out.
Brucey.
He said, and I'm out.
That
Bruce
was
is
the
like,
end
you-
of the.
You made fun of
I was
MJF.
kidding.
I gotta
Man,
go.
Man, I was kidding. Please
I
come
think
back.
it's
Yeah,
this thing is technical
Done.
difficulty.
It's
Just
game
like
day.
that. See?
He was saying something about his computer malfunctioning before
Oh.
we started recording. But like I said, you would not have that second match, everything without this one. So I would have to put this in as an iconic match because of not only what it was, but what it led to. And like Wendy said, the tope over the top, it had its moments. It was technical. It was relatively brutal. It had a great build. It had every ingredient that you need for an iconic match to just throw it all in the pot, stir it up, and just be like, here you go. So I have to say it. And even though I guess we've already got a majority, let's hear what Felipe has to say anyway. Give Brucey a chance to come back.
Okay. After hearing everybody, I have my thoughts about this match because for me this is an iconic match, but mostly because I'm a huge HBK fan. He's my favorite wrestler ever. Saying that, for me, the Undertaker, Shawn Michaels matches were like, I don't know, the classic of the WWE. It's like putting the Cowboys versus help me,
The
the
Redskins.
Cowboys.
Oh,
Eagles?
yeah,
or-
Giants. yeah,
Lakers
Eagles.
versus Celtics.
There you go.
Eagles.
There you go.
Two legacies.
my show,
Two
Eagles.
legacies. Two
My team,
icons
Redskins.
that I
That
think
Redskins
they
team.
were still in their
That
prime. They both were active at this time of this match, and this match was the only remember seeing of WrestleMania that year, 25. And the second one is emotionally awesome, but this match is like a work of piece of art for me. Actually, this match is the match that made HBK say, "Okay, this is it. After this match, this is my top. I can." This he said in his book and in interviews that this is for him the match. This is the most perfect match that he ever could make. So after that, he immediately saw about Wrestle one last year, and after that, he's gone. So for me, that this match is iconic. Actually, there's two iconic entrances. The Shawn Michaels one that Gonzalo said was from the
Right.
heaven, taker down from the hell. What more perfect could be? And actually, it has his moment when Shawn Michaels kick out of the tombstone, and I think that maybe one of the first to ever kick, and
Maybe,
first
yeah.
in a WrestleMania,
Yeah,
to
WrestleMania,
kick out from.
I honestly, during that
tombstone.
match, I lost count of the times I said, "Holy shit!" Between the tope, Sean kicking out, Taker taking multiple super kicks, kicking out anyway. I'm like,
And don't forget the Undertaker facial after that.
mm-hmm.
Can
No,
can
that-
I just make a little fantasy booking?
Sure.
No,
Yes.
because no, because
no.
we are not in the middle.
I was just want to say that year, because let's remember that when Shawn wanted that rematch for WrestleMania, he cost the Undertaker the World Heavyweight Championship at the Elimination Chamber in 2010, and I think that was the moment to make the Brothers of Destruction versus D-Generation X.
Yeah.
That was the year, and that was the
Yes.
moment.
Yeah.
And that
I'm with
match,
you right
sense.
there.
or actually,
Beat the hell out of Saudi Arabia. That's for sure.
the X were tag team champions at the time. That was a perfect moment to have that match instead of that Saudi Arabia, of course.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
and I
was
think
bad.
that was the moment that will lead the final match between HBK versus Taker. That was the moment that we have all said we have to see that match because they were on their prime, the four of them.
Oh,
That was the
okay.
moment, and they didn't take advantage of that.
Sorry, I'm getting a message from Brucey here that says
Is he alive?
he's alive. His
Oh, okay.
laptop it died,
That's right.
restarted, and is updating. So he says, and I quote, "I'm probably not going to make it back. Tell everyone I said thank you for joining us and for all this and for all the love and support so far." Wow, who knew high class could be sweet?
Sweet
So-
enough to give you diabetes.
Anything can happen on this
so
episode.
does he
y'all.
have a heart? That's cool.
Right,
He
he has a
does
heart,
have a
and,
heart.
and he's in his feels, and it's not about MJF. This is another first,
Yeah, I kind of like this guy.
That's awesome.
right?
Yeah,
Like, where's this
Don't get
dude
used
been
to
for
it.
100
Just don't get used to it.
I'm gonna accept it
One
on
and
Facebook.
done.
I'm gonna accept it on Facebook. Give me a minute.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna queue up the next match here. At least I think. Oh man, I got multiples. I hope I'm picking the right one.
Ooh.
Felipe, yell at me if I don't. Here we go.
Oh,
Devin.
Oh,
Devin.
Oh.
say it.
Oh, the
Iconic. Enough said.
Felipe is done. Now it's my turn. Okay. This match, every time I see pictures or somebody mentions it, I can just see Stone Cold in the sharpshooter, blood pouring down his fucking face. The whole night. That's an iconic moment, but I would have to believe it's an iconic moment from an iconic match between two WWE icons. Like you have the whole formula right there in that one match in an iconic arena, if I remember correctly.
When it was called Rose Month at the time.
Right. But
And
still,
the construction of this match is face heel and then turn each other.
Flip
Yes.
mid
Oh my
match.
God.
Crazy.
Yes, absolutely. Say like all the turn post work with the figure fours and the drama and even Ken Shamrock showed out as referee. It was insane. So I'm gonna say iconic too. Gonzalo, what do you think?
I have to remember one of the old Stone Cold interviews when he said that this is one of his favorite matches because this match forced him to show a different side of typical Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestling style. He had to adapt to Bret Hart on how he wrestles, and that's fantastic because we saw a different Stone Cold and he adapted so well. I think this is one of those matches that he shut those mouths that say, no, he just can do these kind of things. No, he can do also this. He can adapt to these kind of matches. So, and I enjoy it. I definitely enjoy it. It's a great match.
It is.
I cannot say iconic because we were still talking about a lot of iconic matches. We have to choose actually. So, but I have to.
We're
say
leaving a lot of
it's
things
great.
for fans to vote on. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but
it's not gonna be easy, y'all.
Yeah, but it's definitely a great match.
No,
Absolutely.
I hear you. And it would not be an episode of Top Rope, all 100 of them, if Grandma wasn't eating at one point or another. I just had to put that in there.
And she dancing over there too. That's when you know the food is
Grandma eating has become an iconic part of Top Rope Wrestling Talk. So if you're done chewing, don't hide yourself. You're
There's
beautiful
no
for
episode.
it. I love you for it.
We
People
family.
tune in for it.
Yeah.
There are people in our live chats
Enjoy,
weekly
hey.
who are like, Grandma,
Either
what you
way.
eating? Grandma, what you eating? Grandma, what you eating? Every fucking week. Like nobody gets tired of it. You get
To
tired of
answer
me.
the question, well, to answer the first question, what's Grandma eating? It was a key lime cheesecake. It was gluten-free, dairy-free because it just looked good in the box. And I was like, yes, please and thank you. I want cheesecake.
Yeah, my wife would have been like, you had me at cheesecake. End of story.
Actually,
You got me
really
at dairy
fucking
free
delicious.
because you know.
Bro, you would have loved it. It was good.
Yeah.
It's right up your alley, homie.
Right. Oh, dairy
I'll have
free.
to
That
take a
vegan
picture of the
living,
box
you know?
and send it to you guys because it
Say
was
less.
fucking delicious. Found it at Target. Target. Anyways,
That's how you say it when you fancy. It's Target.
sound real fancy, y'all.
You and me both.
As I'm watching the highlight reel,
Of course. Consistent and honest. You gotta love her.
it's definitely a great match. Has some great moments. It's really cool to watch, like Bret Hart versus Stone Cold in general, like any match really. Because Stone Cold was such a brawler and he was just so like dirty and gritty about it. And Bret Hart is so technical and clean and crisp about it, you know.
Mhm.
And they were very much the consummate heel faces here. I think it's a great match, though. Honestly, I'm not going to go to the level of iconic, but I will say great match.
Sorry, Grandma made me hungry. Just go back to like what Gonzalo said with HBK and the Undertaker. It was like heaven versus hell. It was almost as extreme of a matchup between Stone Cold and Bret Hart when you saw what Bret and the Technician and Stone Cold and his brawling and his raising hell and everything. It's almost as polar opposite as HBK and Undertaker at that Mania. But I've spoken enough. Let's go to Hafeez. What do you think of this match, my friend?
For me, it's an iconic match. Just the fact that it was so special to see Stone Cold become a face right there mid-match like that. The fans just completely just siding with him. And for me, that kind of started like no matter what Stone Cold did, no matter how hard he tried, even after X7 when he turned heel, I actually loved the moment and seeing Stone Cold,
Absolutely.
just doing the heelish acts. I still was on his side, honestly. I
Right?
was cheering him. I understood it. I got it.
And honestly,
you know, like
how many times does the crowd how many times does a crowd turn on that kind of grand stage and somebody just adapts to it? Like maybe Hogan when he was fighting The Rock in Canada and he was dressed as Hollywood and everybody was chanting for him and all that stuff. So all of a sudden he's breaking out this and he's doing all the old Hulkamania shit. But Stone Cold might have done it better than Hulk Hogan. Probably did it better than Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
In my opinion, he did.
Yeah.
And I was not a Hulk guy. I was a Hollywood guy, so that's hard for me to say. If I knew I could get it right, I'd be spraying NWO on that title. If I mess it up, that's it.
You got one shot.
Because Hollywood had it for me. That's all I'm like, fuck Hulk, but that Hollywood, man.
But I'm really anticipating getting this to Devin because I know that this is his like all-time matchup. But for me, it's iconic.
Wrap this bad boy up because I think we've already made the decision on this. But we got to hear his 2 cents anyway.
Can't move on without acknowledging it. It is iconic. It is when I make a list, this is at the tippity top. This match right here, because this is the match that I actually fell in love with wrestling right here. Like, I remember the buildup between these two, Survivor Series between Bret and Stone Cold, and I was still all in the Stone Cold's character for some reason. I just love heels, and I remember doing a promo. He was like, "Yeah, I hear you. The best there is, the best there is, but a cliche is a cliche, and the ass whooping is the ass whooping." I was like, "Oh shit." Okay, he's talking about that life. He's about that life. I want to see.
I remember saying that with my dad. My dad was like, "How dare you disrespect Bret Hart?"
I might be going out on a limb, but I gotta say, I think just in his short WWE career, I don't know anybody that had as many iconic promos, iconic matches, iconic moments as Stone Cold.
Shit, yeah.
In that short little window, because obviously the injuries and things took a toll, but in that run, he must have had an iconic moment every week.
And the build up to that, he said he's not gonna quit. He's like, ain't no quitting, no Stone Cold. And I want to see this play out because you're going against the submission specialist, Bret Hart. This is a submission match. This is Bret Hart's wheelhouse, bro. And he goes in as the top, top heel in that story, comes out as the top face. Dude, that's crazy. And you see how, man, hats off to Bret, how he switched that aggression side. He just rip apart Stone Cold's knee. You know what I'm saying? Bringing against, you said the ring post, or just kicking the shit out of it during the match. I'm like, holy shit, bro. And people just booing, and he get cut up. And then all of a sudden you see people start cheering for Stone Cold, and then he puts this finishing move on. And then you see Stone Cold, he's like, no, I ain't giving up. I ain't giving up. He's in pain. Like, you see him in pain, pass out from the pain. And Ken Shamrock is like, are you sure you want to give up?
But that's what made Shamrock epic.
Bro, he out.
That's what made Shamrock epic. Was the fact that he was asking Stone Cold, and Stone Cold was like, out cold, just night. Just, nope, I'm done. And he's still asking, do you want to give up?
That's like when you're dead asleep. That's like when you're asleep and someone's like, hey, are you sleeping? What the fuck you think I'm doing?
What did it look like? No, so it felt like such a full circle moment at that point, because if you go back a few years, Bret Hart had like an I Quit match against Bob Backlund, and Bret was the one saying, I'll never quit, and Bob, with the help of Owen at the time, got him to quit. And then skip ahead. Now all of a sudden, Bret's in the Bob role, and Stone Cold is in Bret's role, saying, I ain't giving up. I don't care what you do. And he technically didn't. And I don't think Bret did either. Owen just basically quit for him and then ran off with Bob Backlund in the title. Yeah. So neither one of them quit, but it was weird how the roles just switched from one guy to the next. It was still iconic. I'm just saying, it's like they had a template and they were like, okay, let's just take this and then we'll reverse. And it worked beautifully. I wonder if this next match will work out as beautifully, because we all pretty much agreed that was iconic. If he wasn't asleep, I'd probably message Bruce. He'd be like, yo, you think this man? He probably went fucking